Hello. You've caught me doing one of my least favourite things in the world, actually.
We're getting closer to the festive season now, and for once, I'm mostly prepared. The tree is up, the Christmas jumpers are on, and the presents are bought. But the thing with presents is that, for some reason, we, as a society, have decided it's rude to just hand them over in a carrier bag. Instead, you have to endure the endlessly time-consuming chore that is wrapping them.
Which should be easy, you know, especially since I have a strict policy of only ever buying small, square-shaped presents. But even then, I just... Where's the end?
It's never simple. Presents might look all lovely, but in my experience, the bows and ribbons are covering more than just that James Bond Blu-ray I got for you, Dad. The bows and ribbons are also covering up how deceptively difficult it is to get them on there in the first place. Video games can be like that too sometimes. You get those ones, don't you, that look all cute and inviting, but that underneath are harder than a tattooed algebra problem.
Here then are 7 such hardcore games that are way more difficult than they look. I mean, the paper just gets chucked out afterwards anyway, doesn't it? Like, who cares?
Let's start with Hollow Knight Silksong, which is a textbook example of a hardcore game that is way more difficult than it looks. Indeed, if you look at the cover art, the only thing hard about Silksong is the outline of the characters. This is a world filled with wonder that inspires curiosity, a siren call of sights and sounds designed to lure you in.
Even the word Silksong just feels soft and gentle, doesn't it?
But actually play it, and gentle is an adjective that will die in your mind faster than Hornet dies in the game. Silksong is, if anything, even tougher than the original Hollow Knight. Harder platforming, stronger enemies, and a rosary economy so stingy it makes Scrooge seem like Santa Claus.
So if you aren't prepared, you will be the one feeling hollow.
And yet, Team Cherry has spent the last 7 years crafting a world with such depth and personality that it's impossible not to fall in love with Hollow Knight Silksong. Even when losing the will to live during the Groll the Great runback, you can't help but marvel at how beautiful and charming everything is, even as you die again.
Oh, this game is so cute.
The looks of a butterfly, a melancholy emo goth butterfly, and the sting of an angry wasp. There's nothing quite like Hollow Knight. You know that film with Tom Cruise where he's trapped in a time loop and can't die? Our second game on this list, Super Meat Boy, is just like that. It's basically jump, die, jump, die, jump, die, again and again and again. A nasty surprise after you've read the title Super Meat Boy and incorrectly assumed you're about to play a cutesy action platformer starring a lightly seasoned superhero poultry dish.
Yeah, it turns out Super Meat Boy wasn't quite as lemon and herb as I was expecting.
In fact, I'm not even sure there is a spice rating that sufficiently captures the tongue-scorching severity of Super Meat Boy's difficulty, because this wonderfully bizarre and slightly grotesque indie platformer is both stylistically bold and unique, while at the same time being sofa-punchingly difficult.
When I was trying in vain to complete it back in 2015, I had to play with a special support pillow that I could
hit every time you died.
That I could cry into every time it got too difficult.
Which was all the time. Super Meat Boy became the standard by which all chiptune soundtracked, retro-inspired, nightmarishly tough indie platformers were measured. And to be clear, it is an astoundingly brilliant game. A perfect cocktail of intensity, silliness, and genuine reverence for the games that inspired it. I just wish I didn't suck at it so much.
If only I was just better at everything.
Entry number 3 is another tricky platformer, Celeste, a 2D jump-em-up following the journey of a young woman attempting to overcome a metaphorical mountain of anxiety by climbing a literal mountain of rocks and whatever else mountains are made of.
Ice and other mountainy bits.
As is the theme with this list, Celeste looks like a warm, retro hug, despite the regular howling blizzards. But in practice is a game that demands perseverance and precision. The moment-to-moment gameplay flow is wonderfully slick, building up momentum as you dash and hop past spike traps and over chasms, only to be abruptly halted by, well, death.
Both literal in-game death, but also a symbolic one, with Madeline's inner demons hitting seemingly out of nowhere right when everything was going just fine.
Celeste's biggest challenge is in building up the mental stamina required to get you through these difficulties. Anyone can be good at platforming for a few seconds, even slow old me. You could even keep the lightning-fast reflexes up for 10, 20 seconds, but maintaining that level of concentration for the extended sequences required to master Celeste is serious business.
No, I didn't finish this game, but I would really like to. And I think in many ways that's just as commendable.
Now, some games on this list look cute, or charming, or retro, but none look quite as cute, charming and retro as Cuphead, which is the fourth game that is way more difficult than it looks. Cuphead is so gorgeous that the exceptional hand-drawn animation makes it look more like an actual old-school cartoon than a video game.
But it is a video game. A brilliant video game. A brutally challenging video game.
Cuphead will have you frothing at the mouth. It asks a lot of you and gives you 3 lives to deal with a bucket load of vicious bosses and dastardly obstacle courses, or 4 lives if you have the heart charm equipped, but then that weakens your attack power. And then you play Cuphead for the first time and soon discover 4 lives doesn't feel like anywhere near enough.
It's almost cruel, Cuphead. You know, one of those games I wish I was good at, because it just looks so cool, and I'd love to be one of those people who, like Rosie, can talk about it triumphantly in the past tense. Like, yeah, so when I beat Goopy Legrand,
I did this really cool thing where I dodged and was brilliant and won the fight. I locked in, dug down, deeper than I've ever dug before, into a well of gamer prowess I didn't even know I possessed, thrust myself into the challenge and said, no, I won't be beaten, I will rise, I will fight, I shall conquer, I shall...
I shall give up and play something else. It's way harder than it looks, this.
The fifth hardcore game that's way harder than it looks is Tunic, a delightful action-adventure and brutal Souls-like puzzler that just happens to look like an isometric throwback adventure game, which it is, and that's why it's so deceiving.
Deceptively difficult.
The first few times you encounter enemies that beat you so bad you run home crying for your mother, you'll think, maybe I've just accidentally wandered into a late game area. Then you'll realise every area is like that, and all the enemies, and the bosses, and even the puzzles, which, by the way, are in a language you'll have to gradually learn over the course of the game.
That's right, you can't even read the in-game instruction manual for help.
Tunic is a charming adventure that takes place in one of the most intriguing virtual worlds I've ever had the pleasure of setting foot in, but you have to really earn each step forward, and even then your reward is usually a kick in the shin. It's as emotionally devastating as it is fulfilling, thanks to a combination of challenging mechanics and a heart-wrenching story. But also, it really is cute. You know, I've personally wished tragedy and misfortune on every enemy and their family. I have uttered foul curses in their name. But also, I would love a plushie of them all that I could hug at bedtime.
Maybe not the purple spiders, though.
The penultimate entry on this list is Spelunky, and while it is a sweet and gentle looking affair, the deceptive layer of difficulty is sourced from another well. That well of seemingly easy tasks that are actually very hard.
You see, when I first played Spelunky, it was easy. Just treat it like a maze and dig down.
But that's only scratching the surface of what the game is asking you to do. Sure, you could race to the bottom of the procedurally generated levels each time, but you'll very quickly find out you're missing the resources and abilities to get any deeper than the first biome. No, you'll need to mine for precious stones, rescue the damsel in distress, and avoid the countless traps, bats and snakes, and the unkillable screen-hogging ghoul chasing you down if you want to get a score even one level up from totally embarrassing.
Yes, I know, get good. The only thing is, I wasn't expecting this to be a game I would have to get good at.
Once again, the art style and the inconspicuous premise is what got me. It'll be fun, it says. You'll love it. A quick romp through some rock holes, grab some gems, and you'll be back above ground with a smile on your face before you know it. Only it wasn't quick, and I didn't grab many gems. And I didn't have a smile on my face. I didn't even make it back above ground. Instead, I lay amongst the dinosaurs, turning slowly into very grumpy oil.
All I'm saying is, perhaps there should be one Peggy rating for things like violence and swearing, and another separate Peggy rating for difficulty.
Oh, are you embarrassed you found a Peggy 7 game too hard?
Yes.
The final hardcore game that is way more difficult than it looks is one that probably comes as no surprise to PlayStation veterans. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time.
Or Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About realising you suck at video games now, you old man, as I like to call it.
All Crash Bandicoot games are tough. Crash 3 Warped was my personal PlayStation baptism of fire as an 11-year-old. But Crash 4 takes it to another level. Some of the requirements for the optional gems and relics.
Optional.
Just make me want to cry. You have to do things like smashing all the boxes without dying. Complete levels in such a short time they genuinely make me wonder if I'm supposed to somehow work out how to ascend to a new level of being. You know, do I have to become like Rosie?
Even then, at the time of recording, not even Rosie has got the platinum for Crash 4, which she will be very pleased I've said out loud.
It's the extra little touches that make things properly tricky. Things like platinum relics for absurdly tight time trials, or videotape challenge levels, or the mirror levels with one-off modifiers like increased speed. All of which is in addition to a platforming foundation that demands speed and precision even during the mildest moments.
Excellent game though. 2 thumbs up. And thanks Connor for not writing in a joke about me looking like Cortex. Couldn't help yourself, could you?
And that was 7 hardcore games that are way more difficult than they look. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like and tell us in the comments if there are any games we've missed. Then subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up to date with all things PlayStation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.